Hello everyone and welcome to our short video on the Vocational Studies programme here at Glasgow University. My name is Lindsay Crawford. I'm the Director of Vocational Studies and I'm the lead for Year 1. I'm also the lead for a separate programme called the Comet programme. I'm going to hand you over to my two colleagues.
Hello, my name's Dr. Lindsay Yeoman. I'm a GP partner and I'm the Deputy Director for Vocational Studies and I lead on Year 2.
Hello, I'm Chris Terbett. I help Lindsay Crawford and Lindsay Yeoman organise vocational studies behind the scenes. I've been a VS tutor for about a decade and I'm still really enjoying it. I would highly recommend. It's a great complement to your clinical working week.
So I'm going to now talk to you about what's actually involved in being a VS tutor. So vocational studies takes place in both years 1 and 2. It's a weekly 3-hour session throughout the academic year. In Year 1, it takes place on either a Tuesday morning, Tuesday afternoon, or Wednesday morning, and you're paid for a total of 33 sessions. In Year 2, it runs on either a Wednesday morning, a Thursday morning, or Thursday afternoon, and you're paid for a total of 29 sessions. The reason that it's fewer sessions is because the Year 2 term is shorter due to a student slate component that runs right after the winter break in January to February. Please note that these sessions also includes non-contact time sessions for things like preparation for the VS sessions, like marking coursework and e-portfolio and tutor development. We ask that you tend to not take holidays during term time because you're responsible for the one group throughout the academic year. You're paid over 12 months because you're an employee of the University of Glasgow, so your pay is annualised and the GP pay scale increases with the DDRB annually. You're allocated a group of 8 to 10 students per tutor, and the teaching is based either on campus or some sessions are based in GP practice. You're teaching the skills, attitudes and attributes that you would see in the GMC duties of a doctor. Tutors are involved in various assessments throughout the year, so there's coursework in each year that are summative, i.e. they must be passed in order for the students to progress to the next year. You're also asked to mark the students' e-portfolio entries, which include things like their learning log for any communication skills roles that they might have taken place, and thought-provoking events, and a number of others. In Year 2, the students also undertake the formative OSCE, which VS tutors are examiners for. The VS curriculum covers a number of different domains. So in Year 1, students go out to a number of different clinical environments with their tutor, including the GP practice, but also an ED department, a hospital visit and a virtual hospice visit. And this is to start understanding the kind of clinical context. And they also undertake a piece of coursework called the community diagnosis, where they're learning about the impact of the community and different factors on the patient's health. Students also start to learn about communication skills, the basics, and then go on to learn how to take systems histories. And they also start to look at the relevant body systems in terms of clinical examination skills and clinical procedural skills. So for example, in Year 1, they cover cardiovascular and respiratory systems, and then which is revised in Year 2, where they also learn about the gastrointestinal, musculoskeletal and neurological systems. They also learn different IT skills like utilising the portfolio system. And they're working together in teams in order to undertake their different pieces of coursework. They start to learn about what it means to be a doctor in terms of professionalism, and they also start to learn about different medical ethical scenarios, such things like rationing and abortion and end-of-life care and the right thing to do sessions. So you can see there's quite a variety in what's actually taught in vocational studies, and it's what I like to call the stuff that actually makes us a doctor. And outside the vocational skills, they're learning the hard science behind a lot of this as well, which often is running in parallel with the sessions that we're running. For those tutors who don't have their own practice, we utilise what are called associate teaching practices, ATPs, or buddy practices, particularly for the clinical visits, of which there are 6 sessions in each year. The ATPs are paid £130 per session to host a tutor and the students. So for example, if you're a salaried doctor and then the practice that you're salaried in could be paid for this. Or if you're a locum but you happen to know a practice that you will come in regularly, then they could also be utilised as an ATP and the practice would receive payment for this. Essentially, the practice would help arrange the patients that are needed for each session and allow your group to use their facilities. In year 1, the 6 sessions consist of 3 for the different pieces of coursework. So 1 for the life history project and 2 for the community diagnosis. There's the clinical context visit of what it's like to be in a GP practice, essentially an introduction to GP practice. And then there's 2 clinical skills sessions for covering cardiovascular and respiratory systems, where the students meet a couple of patients with conditions related to these systems and take a history and examine them. In year 2, there's also 6 sessions, 4 of which are for clinical skills visits, again, where they're meeting patients with GI and renal conditions or musculoskeletal and neurological conditions, and again, taking a history and examining these patients. There's also 2 sessions for the family project, which is a summative piece of coursework the students have to complete in year 2, where they meet a family with a young child, usually a baby or toddler, and learn about everything that it takes in order to raise a child and for them to be healthy and well. So we hope that's given you a little bit of information about what's involved in being a VS tutor. But we thought we would share some of our highlights of why we think it's great being a VS tutor. You get to mix your busy clinical sessions with being with young people who can bring a different energy. You get to meet other doctors as fellow tutors who may become new friends. You can enjoy the buzz of the Glasgow Uni campus, which has been looking great with its uplift. You get to rediscover how interesting medicine is and accept that often you too will learn from the students who often ask good questions or raise points that you may not have thought of. And you'll see here, this is the Wilson Medical School building on the right. And on the left, this is not only the VS team, but the wider GP teaching team at the Teaching and Learning event in September, which we host every year. So we hopefully will see you soon. If you do have any questions, please get in touch. Thank you.